Hi friends, you welcome to Shyam Institute. So then we are discussing today's current affairs, that is 7th, 6th, 25. So then the headlines are RBI repo rate cut. So this is the third time this year. So then what are the effects, then we will discuss. And steel bottles to school students, Greater Flamingo Sanctuary, World Food Safety Day. World Food Safety Day observed on 7th. So then in addition to this, then we will discuss some more points. Then have a look at this particular one. RBI repo rate cut. So this repo rate cut generally then we call repo rate adjustments. We call a bi-monthly credit policy. A bi-monthly credit policy, this monetary policy committee can change these key rates 6 times in a year. 6 times in a year. So the first one starts with the financial year April. That is the first bi-monthly credit policy we call. Second one June. A third one August. Fourth one October. Fifth one December. And sixth one in February. So total 6 times RBI can change or move the interest rates. RBI, not RBI here, MPC. Monetary Policy Committee can change these interest rates based on the inflation present in the market. So if the inflation is increasing, certainly then the rates will be increased. If the inflation is coming down, the interest rates will come down. So here like inflationary conditions are quite less. That's the reason then it has focused on a cut of 50 basis points. So 50 basis points deducted in this particular second bi-monthly credit policy. Second bi-monthly credit policy. So MPC meeting was conducted on 4th, 6th, 25 and RBI announced rate cut on the next day. Okay, that's a part. So repo rate earlier it was 6%. With the 50 basis points deduction, it reached to 5.5%. 5.50%. This is repo rate now. And then monthly with this particular effect, the repo rate is reduced, the interest rates incurred by the banks to the customers will come down. And at the same time, the interest gives by the banks to the customer on their fixed deposits also will come down. So then the customer then has to pay less EMIs now because 50 basis points reduced. So similar 50 basis points or near that basis points effect will be there on the interest rates. So that is the context here. And then the other rates, if you observe, repo rate is at 5.5. Other rates are not changed. Reverse repo stood at 3.35. Bank rate and MSF stood at 5.75%. Bank rate and MSF stood at 5.75%. That is one. So, and the CRR, cash reserve ratio we call. SLR and CRR are reserve ratios. SLR and CRR are reserve ratios. Cash reserve ratio, CRR reduced 100 basis points. 100 basis points is nothing but 1%. Earlier CRR was 4%. 1% reduced, so that became 3%. So now the repo rate stood at 5.5%, reverse repo rate stood at 3.35%, bank rate and MSF, these two 5.75 only, and CRR stood at earlier it was 4% and then 100 basis points reduced, so it reached to 3% now. CRR 3%, SLR 18%. There's a context here. So this is the second bi-monthly credit policy. First bi-monthly credit policy we observe in April. There is the first one. This is the second one, June second one. And the third one will be in August. Fourth will be October. Fifth will be December. Sixth will be in February. There's a context for the present year. So to control the inflation, Reserve Bank of India then can raise or Monetary Policy Committee, not Reserve Bank of India, Monetary Policy Committee, which consists of 6 members, 3 members from RBI, 3 members officially appointed by the government, and these 6 members decide whether to increase the interest rates or to decrease the interest rates. So every time if they reduce interest rates, the EMIs will come down, EMIs will come down. For fixed deposit rates, the interest on fixed deposit rates as well comes down. So that is a negative part to the customer inside. If the fixed deposit rates interest rate is reduced, that is negative to the customer. For example, if I have earlier taken loan, every month then I have to pay interest. So like in this case, no need to pay high rate of interest here, less rate of interest than I have to pay. There's a context here. That's the point about RBI repo rate. Moving to the next one, steel bottles to school students. So then generally like this was announced on June 5th, Environment Day. So World Environment Day, June 5th we observe. So on the day, particular state government of Himachal Pradesh, they announced steel bottles to they announced 6 lakhs of steel bottles to the students of the government schools, and those 6 lakhs. So like to promoting and conserving the environment, they introduced this particular concept on the special day, that is Environment Day, to avoid plastic pollution. So beating the plastic pollution is the theme for the June 5th 2025. So that then to implement that, a particular state called Himachal Pradesh, the Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister, Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu, then he is the chief minister. Then he started this particular program in Himachal Pradesh. So they distributed 6 lakhs bottles in a first phase. Okay, there is a context. Which state? Himachal Pradesh. Moving to the next one, protocol of bilateral investment treaty. Investment treaty, that is called BIT. This particular protocol of bilateral investment treaty was observed between India and Kyrgyzstan. We should call it as Kyrgyzstan. So India and Kyrgyzstan signed on this particular BIT, bilateral investment treaty. So then this agreement at New Delhi, the finance minister of India and the foreign minister of Kyrgyzstan, Jimbek Kulbayev Maldokvich, these two, finance minister as well as the foreign minister of Kyrgyzstan, signed on this particular one. They may ask question like which of the following countries, or India with which country recently signed protocol of bilateral investment treaty, that is Kyrgyzstan. This Kyrgyzstan is a Asian country only, Asian continent nation, or Asian nation we can call. So which is a Middle Asian nation. That's a point. Moving to the next one, Nanozyme that prevents the excessive blood clotting. So generally to avoid the blood clotting and those, vitamin K is required. Then we know in our earlier sessions and those earlier classes. So here like Nanozyme introduced recently by the IISc Bangalore, Indian Institute of Sciences Bangalore, recently introduced this particular Nanozyme, which is a metal based Nanozyme, which prevents the excessive blood clotting. This is observed generally, excessive blood clotting concept. Blood clotting is generally observed if any person affected with the COVID issues, or like if they have any pulmonary thromboembolism issues. Due to these reasons, then sometimes then their blood may get clot. So to prevent that blood clotting and those, Nanozyme this which is prepared with a metal based one, which prevents the blood clotting. There is a context. Try to remember this Nanozyme, important one. And moving to the next one, Greater Flamingo Sanctuary, Tamil Nadu's Ramanathapuram district, Dhanushkoti. They introduced a sanctuary, a Greater Flamingo Sanctuary. Generally then Pulicat is a Pulicat lake generally attracts these flamingos in general. This flamingos, very special bird. And then these flamingos comes from Ran of Kutch. Then we know this one at Gujarat. So from this area, then this flamingos comes here, Pulicat Lake, and in Tamil Nadu, Pulicat Lake in Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh as well. Some part of this observed in Andhra Pradesh as well, border states. So then Pulicat bird sanctuary also observed, bird sanctuary in Nellore district. So it's famous for this flamingos in general. Okay. Moving to the next one, Aish Nvesh Saradhi. Aish we know, Aish stands for Ayurveda, Yoga or naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and homeopathy. This is Aish. Aish is a traditional medicine system of India. The new portal introduced by the government of India is called Aish Nvesh Saradhi. introduced by the government of India to boost the investments in traditional medicine system. To attract investments into this Ayush, then they introduced a Aish Nvesh Saradhi portal. Aish Nvesh Saradhi portal. That's the point. And try to comment here what Aish stands for. What are the traditional medicine services in India? Then Aish provides Ayush. And then at the same time, the present minister of Ayush. Okay, present minister and its full form. That's one. Moving to the next one. Araali Green Wall Project. A Green Wall project recently inaugurated by the Prime Minister on June 5th, and he planted a banyan sapling at a Bhagavan Mahavir Vanasthali Park, New Delhi. A sapling he planted, Prime Minister planted a sapling, and then he inaugurated Araali Green Wall Project. Araali range covers the states together, they come together to form a Araali Green Wall Project, then which covers Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana as well as Delhi. That's part. So Rajasthan, Haryana, Delhi and Gujarat, covering these four, they give a name called a Green Wall Project. Green Wall Project, the objective behind this one is protecting the flora and fauna of these particular areas. There's a context. Moving to the next one, International Criminal Court, ICC we call. International Criminal Court, this is located in, located in The Hague, Netherlands. And recently this International Criminal Court is in news, recently we have. So United States invoked sanctions on the 4 judges of this ICC, International Criminal Court. 4 judges were sanctioned by US government. The reason behind this one is, then they started working on the investigation into the Israel issue, the Gaza, how it is affecting and those, like then to work on it, they started working or investigating on Israel issue. So immediately like US started invoking sanctions on the 4 judges of this particular 4 judges of ICC, International Criminal Court. So then recently France showed its support to the ICC. So like France is a country, extended its support to the International Criminal Court judges. There's a context here we have. So that's the reason ICC is in news. Try to then focus on that particular. The judges of ICC started investigating on Israel issue. US entered and announced sanctions on it. There's a context here we have. Moving to the next one. Yes, World Food Safety Day. World Food Safety Day is observed on 7th June. Food Safety Day. So the theme for the year 2025 is Food Safety, Science in Action is the theme for the year 2025. So like if you observe here, Science in Action, the scientific research innovation which prevents, detect and manage the foodborne risks. Absolutely scientific research is required to control, detect and prevent the foodborne risks and diseases as well. That's a part. So World Food Safety Day officially introduced in 2018. It was introduced officially in 2018 by the United Nations General Assembly, then which started observing from June 7th, 2019. That is the context here we have. So 7th June observed as what? The World Food Safety Day. World Food Safety Day. What is the theme here? Food safety and science in action. So scientific research is very important to detect, to prevent and to find out the risks related to the foodborne issues. That's the context here. So then I have asked you to provide comment on Aish. So Aish minister, then I have asked, and Aish full form I have asked. Okay, that is the one. So this is all about today's current affairs. We will meet in tomorrow's session with the continuation of this one. Thank you and all the best.